Hey everyone, and welcome. Let's get right to it, because what I'm about to share is incredibly time-sensitive. A major supply chain disruption is currently unfolding, and the effects could start hitting your local store shelves as soon as next week. This isn't a what-if scenario, it's a what's happening now situation. The everyday essentials we all depend on, think paper goods, crucial cleaning supplies, and other basic household items, are facing a serious risk of scarcity. Retailers aren't broadcasting this information, but if you look at the shipping and logistics data, the story becomes crystal clear. These aren't just minor delays, they are significant disruptions that will lead to empty shelves. If you aren't prepared, you could find yourself in a difficult spot, scrambling for necessities that are no longer available. This video isn't about creating panic. It's about smart, practical preparation. It's about staying ahead of the curve so you and your family are secure. I've been tracking this closely, and I've identified 12 critical household items that are most likely to be affected first. These are the things you need to prioritize stocking up on before they become hard to find. We're going to break down this list, item by item, so you know exactly what to get. If you believe in being prepared and want to stay informed with real actionable information, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button right now. Don't wait. Let's dive into the 12 essentials you need to buy before they vanish. 12. The cleanup commandos. Paper towels. Let's kick things off with item number 12, the absolute workhorse of your kitchen, paper towels. I know what you're thinking. Really? Paper towels? But hear me out. You honestly don't realize how much you rely on these guys until you reach for a sheet to wipe up a spill and find nothing but an empty cardboard tube staring back at you. That moment of panic is real, because suddenly you're looking around for a dirty rag or trying to decide if you want to ruin a good hand towel on a mess of spaghetti sauce. Now, most people assume that because paper is everywhere, paper towels must be easy to make. We've got trees, right? We've got paper mills. But here is the secret bottleneck that retailers aren't talking about. It's not the paper itself that's the problem, it's the plastic packaging. That thin, clear film that wraps around your 6-pack or 12-pack is often imported. When shipping containers get stuck at ports or delayed in global logistics jams, that packaging doesn't show up, and without the wrapper, the rolls can't leave the factory. It's a classic supply chain domino effect. What usually takes a day to restock can suddenly drag out for weeks. And we all remember what happened a few years ago. When people get nervous, paper products are the first things to vanish. It's psychological. Seeing a full pantry of paper towels makes us feel secure. So when the shelves start looking a little thin, panic buying kicks in, and suddenly you can't find a single roll within 20 miles. So what is the play here? Don't wait for the panic. Grab a large multi-pack right now. I highly recommend the Select-A-Size variety. They are a total game changer, because you stop wasting a massive sheet on a tiny coffee drip. It makes your supply last twice as long. Store an extra pack up high in a closet, or on a garage shelf, somewhere inconvenient, so the kids don't grab them for crafts or minor spills. Think of it as your emergency cleanup commando reserve. You aren't hoarding, you're just ensuring your household keeps running smoothly when the supply chain hiccups. 11. The Dish Duty Defenders, dishwasher pods. Moving on to number 11, let's talk about a modern luxury that has become a necessity for many of us, the dishwasher pod. These little colorful packets are brilliant, aren't they? You just toss one in, press a button, and walk away. But that convenience rests on a surprisingly fragile foundation. These aren't just soap, they are feats of chemical engineering. Specifically, the magic is in that little dissolvable film that holds the liquid and powder together. That film is made from a specific polymer, polyvinyl alcohol, and the manufacturing of that film is highly centralized. A huge chunk of the world's supply comes from just a handful of specialized plants, often located in places like Germany or China. If a single one of those facilities has a production issue, or if the shipping lanes from those specific regions get clogged, the entire global supply of pods takes a hit. It's a choke point vulnerability. We have actually seen this happen before, where big box stores quietly put limits on how many tubs you can buy. That is a massive red flag. It means their back-of-house inventory is getting low, and they are trying to stretch it out. If you wait until you are down to your last 2 pods, you might find an empty shelf when you go to restock. And let's be honest, going back to hand-washing way single fork and plate is a lifestyle change nobody wants to make overnight. My advice, pick up a bulk container. I'm talking the 90-count tub or larger. This week, It's an easy way to buy yourself 3 months of peace of mind. But here is a crucial pro tip. Moisture is the enemy. If you store these under the sink and a pipe leaks, or if it's just super humid, they will fuse together into one giant, sticky, useless brick. Keep them in a cool, dry place, with the lid snapped tight. And hey, if you can't find pods, grab a box of old-school powder detergent as a backup. It's not as convenient, but it's a solid plan B that will keep your dishes clean if the pods vanish. 10. The grooming guardians. Disposable razors. Next up at number 10, we have a small item that causes a big headache when it's missing. Disposable razor. This is one of those things you use on autopilot in the morning, half asleep. But have you ever tried to buy these during a shortage? It's a nightmare. You end up with the cheap single-blade ones that tear your face up, or you're forced to spend a fortune on an electric shaver you didn't really want. Here is why they are vulnerable. A disposable razor is surprisingly complex to build. You have the plastic handle, the rubber grip, the lubricating strip, and the precision metal blades. These components often come from completely different factories in different parts of the world. The handle might be molded in Vietnam, while the blades are sharpened in another country, and the lubricating strip comes from a third location. All these parts have to meet at one assembly plant. If just one of those shipments is delayed, say a container of rubber grips gets held up, the whole assembly line stops. You can't ship a razor without a handle. When supply chain disruptions hit, the personal care aisle gets hit hard and fast. Retailers prioritize big-ticket items or food, and sometimes things like razors get deprioritized in shipping manifests. Suddenly your favorite brand is out of stock for weeks. To avoid looking like a castaway next month, grab a value pack now. Look for the ones with 10 or 12 cartridges or fully disposable units. This isn't a huge expense, but it saves you a massive amount of frustration later. And here is a smart move. Take 2 or 3 out of that pack and stash them in your travel bag or gym kit immediately. That way, if you run out in the bathroom cabinet and forget to check, you have a secret emergency stash ready to go. Also, keep them dry. Humidity in the bathroom rusts blades faster than anything else. Keep your backup supply in a hallway linen closet to ensure they stay factory fresh until you need them. 9. The Waste Warriors heavy-duty trash bags. Number 9 is arguably the most unglamorous item on this list, but it might be the most critical for sanitation. Trash bags. We don't think about trash bags until the moment the bag rips and garbage juice spills all over the kitchen floor. But in a supply chain crisis, a shortage of trash bags is actually a sanitation issue. Trash doesn't stop accumulating just because you can't buy bags. It piles up, and if you can't bag it, you can't easily get it out of your house, which invites pests and smells. The vulnerability here lies in the petrochemical industry. Trash bags are made from resin, which comes from oil and natural gas refining. When severe weather hits the Gulf Coast, where many refineries are located, or if there are global fluctuations in oil production, the raw material for these bags becomes scarce and expensive. Manufacturers can't make the bags without the pellets. During past disruptions, we've seen standard 13-gallon kitchen bags disappear first because that is the size every single household in America uses. You do not want to be forced to use flimsy grocery store bags for your kitchen waste. It's messy and ineffective, so do yourself a favor and buy a Costco-sized box of your preferred brand now. I'm talking about the box with 100 or 200 bags. That one box can last you 6 months to a year. I also strongly recommend grabbing a box of contractor bags. These are the thick, black, heavy-duty ones. Even if you aren't doing construction, they are vital for emergencies. If a storm hits and you have debris to clear, or if you need to dispose of spoiled food from a freezer failure, regular kitchen bags will just burst. Contractor bags are your insurance policy against the really messy jobs. Store these boxes in a cool, dark place. Believe it or not, plastic can degrade and get brittle if it sits in a hot attic or a damp basement for too long. Keep them climate-controlled, and they'll be ready when the waste starts piling up. 8. The Silver Shield aluminum foil. Let's dive into item number 8, which I like to call the Silver Shield of the kitchen. Aluminum foil. This is one of those items that feels infinite until you yank the box from the drawer, give it a shake, and realize it's feather-light and empty. You use it for everything: lining baking sheets, wrapping leftovers, roasting veggies, even scrubbing grill grates. But the supply chain behind this shiny staple is currently under massive pressure. And it all comes down to one thing: energy. Here is the insider reality that most people don't know. Making aluminum is effectively bottling electricity. It is one of the most energy-intensive industrial processes on the planet. To turn raw ore into the metal we use, smelters need massive amounts of consistent power. Right now, with energy prices skyrocketing in key production hubs like Europe, smelters are shutting down or drastically scaling back. They simply cannot afford the electric bill to keep the furnaces running. When raw aluminum becomes scarce, manufacturers have to make tough choices about what to produce. Heavy industrial parts get priority. Thin, low-margin household foil, that is the first thing to get cut from the production schedule. We are already seeing the ripple effects in the commercial sector. Restaurant suppliers are reporting price hikes of up to 30%. And when restaurants struggle to get supplies, that shortage trickles down to the grocery store aisle very quickly. So, what is the strategic move? Do not wait until you are scraping a lasagna pan with your fingernails. Pick up a 200 square foot roll this week. That size offers the best value and lasts the longest. If you do a lot of baking, I also highly recommend grabbing a box of parchment-lined foil. It is a total game changer for non-stick cooking. To make your stash last, stop tearing off giant sheets for tiny jobs. Use kitchen scissors to cut exactly what you need. And remember, moisture can cause foil to oxidize and stick together, so keep that roll in a cool, dry drawer, not under a humid sink. 7. The Universal Sanitizer Bleach. Coming in at number 7 is the Ultimate Multitasker Bleach. Now, I know what you're thinking: I have a bottle in the laundry room, I'm good. But you need to look at bleach differently. In a true emergency or supply disruption, bleach isn't just for keeping your whites white, it is a survival tool. It is the cheapest, most effective way to disinfect surfaces, and crucially, to purify water if your local water treatment plant hits a snag. However, bleach is incredibly difficult to transport, which makes its supply chain surprisingly fragile. First, there is the packaging bottleneck. Bleach is corrosive, so it requires specific heavy-duty plastic bottles that are often blow-molded at regional factories. If a regional factory has a labor shortage or a machine breakdown, there is no backup, the bleach can't travel. Secondly, bleach is classified as a hazardous material, hazmat. You need specially trained drivers and specific permits to truck it across state lines. With the current shortage of qualified drivers, hazmat loads often get delayed in favor of easier cargo. We have seen this play out regionally, where entire states see bleach shelves go empty for weeks because of a single logistical hiccup. You do not want to be without this when flu season hits or if there is a boil water advisory. Here is your prep plan. You need 3 21-ounce jugs. Dedicate one for your regular laundry cycle, one for deep cleaning and disinfecting your home, and keep the third strictly as an emergency reserve for water purification. Speaking of which, memorize this ratio: 2 drops of regular unscented bleach per liter of clear water. Shake it and let it sit for 30 minutes. That could literally save your life. A warning on storage though: bleach degrades, heat and sunlight destroy the active sodium hypochlorite. Do not store this in a hot garage or a sunny porch. Keep it in a cool, dark basement or a low cabinet to keep it potent. 6. The grind fighters. Scrub sponges. Number 6 might seem insignificant, but let me tell you, you will miss it the moment it's gone. Scrub sponges. We treat sponges as disposable, cheap commodities, but they are actually the result of a complex international assembly process. The classic yellow and green sponge you have by your sink is a Frankenstein product. The yellow part is usually cellulose, wood pulp, while the green scrubby side is a synthetic, abrasive material. Here is the supply chain trap. These two components are often manufactured on completely different continents. The cellulose might come from a specialized plant in Europe, while the synthetic abrasive is produced in Asia. They both have to arrive at a third location to be bonded together, cut, and packaged. If a shipping container full of the abrasive pads gets stuck at a port in Los Angeles, the factory in the Midwest can't finish the sponges. Production stops dead. When supply chains get snarled, these low-cost, high-volume items are often the first to be deprioritized by shipping companies in favor of high-value electronics or durables. The result? You go to the store, and the sponge section is completely bare. And let's be honest, trying to scrub burnt cheese off a casserole dish with a flimsy rag is miserable. The solution is incredibly cheap and easy. Buy a bulk pack. I'm talking the 12 or 24 count jumbo pack. Right now. They weigh nothing, and you can shove them in the back of any cabinet. This ensures you have a fresh grind fighter ready for months, regardless of what is happening at the ports. To get the most out of them, keep them dry between uses. If you are worried about bacteria, a damp sponge microwaved for 30 seconds is effectively sanitized. It's a small prep item that makes a huge difference in your daily quality of life. 5. The stealth shortage. Canola oil, finally. Let's talk about number 5, a kitchen staple that is facing a perfect storm of disruption. Canola oil, we rely on cooking oil for everything: frying, baking, salad dressings. But the global edible oil market is currently in chaos. You have to look at the global picture to understand why your local supermarket might run out. It's a domino effect. First, the war in Ukraine severely impacted the global supply of sunflower oil, as that region is a massive producer. When sunflower oil vanished, everyone pivoted to palm oil. But then, major Asian exporters of palm oil restricted exports to protect their own domestic prices. So, the world pivoted again, this time to canola oil. The problem: Canada, one of the world's absolute giants in canola production, suffered from severe droughts recently that resulted in a much smaller harvest than usual. So, you have shrinking supply meeting historically high demand. That is the recipe for empty shelves and skyrocketing prices. We are already seeing limits on how much cooking oil restaurants can buy, and that is the canary in the coal mine for regular consumers. If you wait until you pour the last drop to buy more, you might find the aisle empty or the price doubled. My advice is to stock up now, but be smart about it. Oil is not like toilet paper. It can go bad. If you are an occasional cook, grab 2 large bottles. If you have a big family or fry often, aim for 4. The key here is storage. Oxygen, light, and heat are the enemies of oil. If you leave clear bottles on a sunny countertop, the oil will go rancid and taste like old crayons within months. Store your stash in a dark, cool pantry, and practice the first-in, first-out method. Always use the oldest bottle first, so your stock stays fresh and ready to use. 4. The furry family feast, dry pet food. Coming in at number 4 is an item that's all about protecting the most innocent members of your household. Dry pet food. Let's be real. You can explain a supply shortage to your spouse, but try explaining it to a cat or dog staring at an empty food bowl at 6 a.m. To them, mealtime is non-negotiable and their well-being depends on it. Dry kibble is the go-to for most pet owners because it's convenient, nutritionally complete, and easy to store. However, the pet food supply chain is way more complex than you'd imagine. High-quality kibble is not just ground-up mystery meat. It is a carefully formulated blend of proteins like chicken or fish meal, grains, vitamins, and minerals. These ingredients are sourced globally. The lamb might come from New Zealand, the vitamins from Europe, and the grains from North America. A delay in any one of these components can bring production to a halt. We're seeing this happen right now. Tighter border inspections and new veterinary import rules are creating massive backlogs for key ingredients. Warehouses that supply pet food manufacturers are already sending out warnings about potential shortages. When this happens, the first thing to disappear from shelves will be the specialty formulas. Grain-free, senior, puppy-specific, but the standard adult formulas will follow shortly after. You do not want to be in a position where you have to suddenly switch your pet's food to whatever random brand is left on the shelf. That can cause digestive upset and a lot of stress for both you and your pet. Here's your action plan. Buy a bigger bag than you normally do. Even if you usually buy the small 8-pound bag, go for the 30-pounder this time. It's cheaper per pound and gives you a significant buffer. Worried about it going stale? Don't be. Unopened. Dry kibble is good for up to a year. Once opened, transfer it to an airtight container. This is a critical step. It keeps the food fresh, preserves the nutrients, and most importantly, keeps pests like ants or mice from getting into your pet's dinner. A simple storage bin can ensure your furry family member stays happy, healthy, and well-fed, no matter what's going on in the world. 3. The unsung essential, toilet paper. Alright, at number 3, we have to talk about the undisputed champion of panic buying, toilet paper. We all have vivid memories of the great toilet paper famine. It became a symbol of societal anxiety, and while production has since stabilized, the supply chain still has a ridiculous weak spot that could cause a repeat performance. You would think the problem is the paper itself, but it's not. The real choke point is the humble cardboard tube in the center of the roll. It sounds crazy, But it's true. The factories that produce these simple brown tubes are highly specialized, and there aren't that many of them. They are often concentrated in specific regions. When trucking and freight logistics get snarled, which is happening right now, these lightweight, low-priority items are the first to get pushed off a truck in favor of heavier, more valuable cargo. If the toilet paper manufacturers don't get their shipment of cardboard tubes, the entire production line grinds to a halt. They can have mountains of finished paper ready to go, but without the core they can't wind it, package it, or ship it. It's the perfect example of a tiny overlooked component, causing a massive system failure. We're not trying to recreate the hoarding chaos of the past. This is about smart, sensible preparation. You don't need to build a fortress of toilet paper in your living room. The goal is to avoid the stress of running out when everyone else starts to panic. Simply grab one bulk pack on your next shopping trip. A 30-pack is great if you have the space, but even a 12-pack provides a solid buffer. The most important thing is storage. Toilet paper is basically a sponge for moisture. Storing it in a damp basement or garage can make it damp and useless. Keep it in a dry linen closet, under a bed or in a sealed storage bin to protect it. This isn't hoarding, it's just ensuring you're one step ahead. 2. The quiet crisis. Feminine care products. Number 2 on our list is an item that is absolutely critical but often gets completely ignored in preparedness conversations. Feminine care products. For millions of people, pads, tampons, and liners are not a luxury. They are a non-negotiable monthly necessity. Running out isn't just an inconvenience. It can be a genuine crisis that affects a person's ability to work, go to school, and live their life with dignity. Yet these products are incredibly vulnerable to supply chain issues. The core problem lies with the raw materials. The main components are cotton and rayon, two commodities that have seen massive global supply disruption. Delays in harvesting, processing, and shipping these materials have pushed manufacturing lead times to an insane 90 days. That means an order placed by a retailer today might not actually arrive on shelves for 3 months. To compound this problem, most major retailers use a just-in-time inventory system for these products. They keep very little backstock. When the first signs of a shortage appear and people start stocking up, the shelves can be wiped clean in a matter of hours. We saw this happen already, with major brands citing supplier issues for widespread shortages. To avoid being caught in this situation, the solution is to create your own personal stockpile. The goal is to have a 3 to 6 month supply of the products your household uses. This isn't hoarding, it's insulating yourself from a fragile system. It eliminates the monthly stress of wondering if the store will have what you need. And while you're building your supply, consider this. Shortages hit vulnerable communities the hardest. Pick up an extra box or two to donate to a local women's shelter or food pantry. It's a small gesture that can make a monumental difference for someone in need. The ultimate non-negotiable. Infant formula. We've reached number 1, the single most critical item on this list, and one where a shortage isn't an inconvenience. It's a life-threatening emergency. Infant formula. For countless babies, formula is their sole source of nutrition. There is no substitute. You cannot just find an alternative. This makes the fragility of its supply chain terrifying for parents. After the massive recalls and contamination scares of the past, the FDA has rightfully implemented much stricter regulations and inspection protocols. While these safety measures are essential, they have had an unintended consequence. Production runs are now smaller and more tightly scheduled. The margin for error is 0. A slight delay in a shipment of a key ingredient or a problem with packaging materials can shut down a production line and lead to weeks of empty shelves. We all saw the fear and desperation this caused families not long ago. Parents were driving for hours, city to city, just searching for a single can of the specific formula their baby needs. You absolutely cannot wait until you are down to the last scoop to restock. If you are a parent or caregiver who relies on formula, you need to act now. The recommendation is to have at least 2 extra unopened cans on hand at all times. Pay close attention to the expiration dates and practice a first-in, first-out rotation system, so you are always using the oldest can first. It is also incredibly wise to have a few bottles of the ready-to-feed liquid formula as an emergency backup. It's more expensive, but in a pinch, it's a lifesaver. Even if you don't have an infant, you can play a crucial role. Spread the word. Talk to friends, family members, and neighbors with babies and gently encourage them to prepare. Collective awareness can help prevent a widespread panic and ensure that no family has to endure the horror of facing an empty shelf when their baby is hungry.